definitely think that it's one reason. I mean, what we have here isn't traditional conservatism. It isn't traditional republicanism. It is authoritarianism. But I think a better word for it, as I think about it, one that more people can understand, is gangsterism, thuggism. We don't have Ronald Reagan anymore. We have Tony Soprano. He's holding people up, threatening them, bullying them, doing things that are beyond his legal power.
Donald Trump has never been short on critics, but few cut into him with the precision, persistence, and biting irony of George Conway. It's like watching a master craftsman pop an overinflated balloon with the sharpest needle imaginable. Conway doesn't just criticize Trump, he dismantles him, brick by fragile brick, until the towering image of strength looks less like power and more like flimsy papier-mâché. The brilliance is that Trump supplies the material and Conway transforms the wreckage into pure comedy gold.
Well, it's funny, I witnessed that search, and then I was also stuck on the bridge on one of the days that they closed it down. It's just absurd. I mean, it is absolutely silly. That case, the Bridgegate case was never criminal. Everybody knew it wasn't criminal. The Supreme Court found it wasn't criminal. But Donald Trump raises this now, long after, I'm sure, the statute of limitations is run, because that's what Donald Trump is about.
Trump may hold the title of President of the United States, but for Conway, that only makes the absurdity louder. Behind the presidential seal, the gold-plated branding, and the endless self-praise, Conway reveals a man riddled with insecurity. To him, Trump isn't a titan, but a tantrum. Not a statesman, but a showman, who mistakes applause for achievement. Every strike Conway lands is both roast and reality check, slicing through Trump's image like a buzzsaw tearing into styrofoam.
That scares people. It makes people pay protection money. We see Harvard possibly knuckling under to pay $500 million. We see these chip makers who are essentially saying, okay, take money from us. And we see the intimidation of people who have had the courage, like Miles, to speak out and criticize the president. And there is no limit to how low he will go and what he will do to intimidate and to threaten and to assert.
The irony is impossible to ignore. Conway's wife, Kellyanne, once stood firmly at Trump's side as his most loyal defender. That connection makes George Conway's takedown of Trump cut even deeper. He isn't just another critic shouting from the sidelines, he's the ultimate insider. Someone who witnessed the circus up close and walked away with a front-row seat to the comedy of errors. Conway doesn't roast from afar, he surgically dissects Trump's flaws with the precision and authority of a man who knows the stench firsthand.
Diagnose him, but I think if you look at the diagnostic criteria for narcissistic personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder, he fits every single one of them. It's like the criteria were made to describe him. And I think what we saw with this tweet yesterday is that last final collapse of Donald Trump's mental state.
One of Conway's favorite targets is Trump's endless obsession with being the greatest. Trump speaks about himself as if history will pause mid-sentence to applaud, but Conway twists that vanity into ridicule. He portrays Trump as a man who mistakes noise for genius, convinced that repeating "tremendous" can somehow bend reality. Conway ridicules how Trump brands every misstep as historic, every failure as a secret win, every scandal as fake news. The tragic comedy is that the only person who believes it all is Trump himself.
Oh, can I win a Nobel Peace Prize? Oh, can I defeat my enemies? Because he's obsessed with defeating his enemies, criticizing, and ultimately now, because he has the power to do it, prosecuting people who disagree with him. And this is not America. This is not healthy. This is, and I hate, people don't want to reach this conclusion. This is authoritarianism. We have never seen anything like this.
Conway thrives on exposing Trump's contradictions. He points out how Trump brags about being a master negotiator, yet leaves chaos in his wake at every bargaining table. He ridicules the way Trump calls himself a genius, yet can't string together a clear thought without veering into odd tangents about crowd sizes. To Conway, Trump is like a magician who never learned the trick, flailing his arms, shouting, "Look over here!" while the audience can't stop staring at the empty hat.
Well, I think litigation is one point. I mean, I think there's litigation still going on. A trial has been going on this week about what the administration did in California with the California National Guard. That is not settled yet. I think there's going to be a lot of litigation about that, but I also think it's important that people understand why it is that this kind of federal overreach is bad. And it's bad because it consolidates power in a...
Conway knows Trump's ego is his weakest spot, and he pokes it nonstop. He mocks Trump's obsession with ratings, noting no president ever cared so much about Nielsen charts. He laughs at Trump's Twitter addiction, painting the image of the world's most powerful man refreshing his phone at 3 a.m. like a teenager craving likes. Trump's past gives Conway even more fuel. The bankruptcies, failed ventures, the hollow branding empire of steaks, a university, an airline, even bottled water. And then there's Trump's obsession with appearances. Conway ridicules the golden penthouse, the tacky aesthetic, and the gaudy trappings of wealth that reek more of desperation than luxury.
Everybody overthinks this guy. There's no strategy. There is no thought. And the brand is just him. He lives in this world where there's just him. Okay?
But it's not just him, George. It's a hell of a lot of people out there who've gotten sucked up into this thing and that are perpetuating
I agree with
that brand.
I'm talking about in his mind.
Okay.
None of us matter. Those people don't matter. They're not real people. He doesn't care what happens.
Conway paints Trump as a man stuck in the 1980s, chasing the image of wealth straight out of a used car commercial. He mocks the hair, the orange glow, the stiff poses, the very flaws Trump wants hidden but never escapes. Yet Conway digs deeper than appearances. He exposes Trump's leadership as pure performance, loud entrances, cheesy catchphrases, endless cliffhangers, and no real substance. To him, Trump's presidency is reality TV, built for ratings, not governance. And the sharpest twist? The man roasting him is the husband of one of his closest aides. That proximity makes every jab cut deeper, turning the roast into a soap opera where the humor hurts because it hits so close to home.
Did you hear that the Epstein estate is going to release the
birthday
book?
Yeah. This is not going to make Donald Trump happy. What do you think he will do to distract from this? Bomb Mexico? I mean, what do you see?
I think his instincts will be everything that we previously see.
Right.
Do things to distract.
Conway hones in on Trump's obsession with being loved, portraying him as a man terrified of silence, desperate for validation like an actor who can't leave the stage. He mocks Trump's endless rallies, where every chant of his name feels like oxygen patching the hole in his ego. To Conway, it's an absurd spectacle, a grown man chasing applause like kids chase bubbles. Then comes the dishonesty. Conway skewers the nonstop lies, the disregard for facts, the endless alternate realities Trump spins with confidence. He paints Trump as allergic to truth. Ego, insecurity, vanity, all collapsing under Conway's spotlight. In the end, Trump is shown as a man who built his brand on bravado, but crumbles under mockery. Quick to insult others, but unable to take a joke. Conway doesn't just attack, he exposes Trump as a walking comedy of contradictions.
Threatening people who dissented from him in the first administration, who expressed views, like the fellow who headed the cyber unit, I forget the name of it,
Chris Krebs,
who said that the election wasn't rigged. He's now Chris Krebs, that's right. And President Trump, the administration, has threatened to investigate him. For what? For doing his job? This is absolutely abusive and appalling. And for those people out there who support the president and say, well, I just don't like those people either, and they went together.
By the time Conway is finished, Trump no longer looks like the powerful president he imagines, but a parody of power addicted to attention, wrapped in insecurity, hiding behind slogans, and chasing applause that vanishes when the lights go out. The roast is brutal, yet hilarious because Conway doesn't invent the material. Trump hands it to him daily, and Conway turns it into punchlines. He especially delights in mocking Trump's habit of inflating every accomplishment into a historic triumph. Trump may be the king of hype, but Conway shows the fear underneath. A man terrified reality won't match the slogans. That obsession with being seen as a winner becomes Conway's sharpest target, exposing the absurdity of a president who can lose a lawsuit, a vote, or a debate, yet still strut away claiming total victory.
Terry Schreckman wants to know from you, George, do you expect Trump to target you and other staff of the Lincoln Project? And if so, do you have a defense plan?
I don't have a defense plan other than whatever he pulls up is going to be meritless. My finances are simple. It won't, I don't fear him. And I think one of the things that that people don't quite understand about Trump, but they really should, is the fact that he's a bully and he wants to pick on people who won't fight back.
To Conway, Trump is like a boxer knocked out in the first round who insists his opponent just tripped on shoelaces. The delusion is both funny and tragic. Then comes the victimhood, Trump casting himself as the most persecuted man in history. Conway shreds this with biting humor, mocking a billionaire president whining like a kid not picked in dodgeball, demanding sympathy while sitting on a golden throne. To Conway, the only person Trump believes is oppressed is himself. And when it comes to communication, Conway delights in the contradictions, the rambling detours, the incoherence, portraying Trump as a man whose speeches belong more at open mic night than in history books.
Can't help himself but emotionally react to things. But one of the things that he's a narcissistic sociopath. That's the thing everyone has to kind of get used to. It's the reason why you cannot normalize him. You cannot treat him like a normal human being because he's not. He is unwell. And that's why he can't follow. He's not going to be able to follow.
Conway loves exposing Trump's hypocrisy. Trump rails against elites while living like one, attacks the media while devouring it, brags about loyalty while tossing allies aside. Conway paints him as the ultimate contradiction, the outsider who's really an insider, the swamp critic who built his own lagoon of scandal. The irony becomes comedy gold, stripping away whatever seriousness Trump tries to project. Rosie O'Donnell may live in Trump's head rent-free, but Conway owns the penthouse. He mocks the fragility, the insecurity, the obsession with image, the delusions of grandeur. The more Trump ignores him, the louder Conway gets, his barbs hitting harder each time. And then there's Trump's long trail of failures. Conway minds them all: the collapsed businesses, the projects that fizzled, the hollow branding empire, casinos that folded, an airline that never took off, steaks that spoiled faster than the packaging, a university that conned its own students. Each flop isn't an exception, but a pattern. One Trump wants buried, but Conway gleefully replays like a blooper reel.
Actually, the people who work for him now should remember. He said that the people who work for Obama, they're not protected by the immunity decision. Well, all you people who are getting those jobs right now, working for Donald Trump, whether you be the lowliest ICE agent or Stephen Miller himself, you better watch it, because you don't have immunity.
What makes Conway's roast sting is that he never rants, he dissects. His humor is scalpel sharp, stripping away Trump's armor until the swaggering strongman is revealed as fragile beneath it all. And in that fragility lies the comedy, a man desperate to be seen as the greatest, yet crumbling at the faintest ridicule. Conway doesn't just roast, he exposes the irony of a figure obsessed with being larger than life, but defined by pettiness. By the end, Trump isn't the untouchable president striding across the stage, but a smaller, weaker, and funnier version of himself. Conway doesn't invent a caricature, Trump supplies it. He just magnifies the absurdities until comedy and tragedy blur together. In the end, Trump isn't just a political figure, he's a parody of himself. And Conway holds up the mirror, making sure the world doesn't just see the act, but laughs at it.